Hi folks, good morning, good afternoon and good evening wherever you are in the world. My name's Sean, aka Uncle Frogface, and welcome to today's video. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're not new, then welcome back. And actually, I've got something rather exciting to share with you. So I was sent a little gift from Stabilo. So Stabilo, as well as doing that classic highlighter that we all know, as well as other office supplies and bits of stationery, do actually do art supplies as well. So they sent me a little package which has, well, let's start with this. We have the Stabilo 68 pens. So these are brush tip pens with a water-based ink, so that means that they could potentially be used like watercolors. They also sent me, so this is the package for it, but this is the Stabilo Flow fountain pen. I love fountain pens. I remember being at school and doing handwriting with fountain pens, so there's a lot of memories in there. And then they did send me this little book, which is hand and brush lettering guide. And I've had a little bit of a flick through, and I mean, I did handwriting with a fountain pen at school, and my handwriting now as an adult is absolutely atrocious. So I'm not sure how much lettering we're going to do today, but I definitely want to test kind of the art merit of these supplies. So I've already done a little bit of experimenting, but I want to bring you along for the rest of it. So let's turn the camera around and I can kind of go into more detail about what we have here. Okay, so I think I'm going to start with the book, actually, and let's just have a little look at this. So this is the Stabilo Hand and Brush Lettering Guide, and it's actually a really nice book. I'm just not a great one for hand lettering, but there's a little forward there, and there's a kind of overview of some of the products that Stabilo do. I've actually used these ones whilst I'm teaching quite a lot, and I had the .88 pens for a very, very long time, but I think this is what we're all probably most familiar with, the good old-fashioned Stabilo highlighter, which actually do have a really nice place in art. If you want to see me do a piece of artwork just using highlighters, let me know. But then it just goes through and gives guides on all of the aspects that you might need of lettering. So I had a good flick through this earlier, and it's a really, really nice book, and it's something that I definitely want to practice. I've just never been very good at writing, but if you want to see me suffer and give it a go, then let me know in the comments down below, and maybe we can do a video actually using this book, putting it to use and writing maybe some affirmations or something, or maybe some horror quotes in lovely script. So this is the book. I'm going to put this aside and have a look at these. So I'm going to start with the Flow. So this, as I said, is the fountain pen, and it's in green, my favourite colour. It's almost as if they knew. And this is a 0.5mm, so this comes with just a standard ink cartridge. This one is blue. I actually have some black ink cartridges, so that is what is in here now. And you can see I was doing some scribbling earlier, just testing out the flow and how waterproof the ink was. It's not, just so you know, but this is a really lovely, nice, consistent line. And a good thing with a modern fountain pen is you can kind of draw in any direction and write in any direction. Remember fountain pens at school, if you went in the opposite direction, you would just tear the paper and it would splatter everywhere. So I really, really like it. It's comfortable as well. It's got a triangular grip at the top, which is really nice in my hand. Feels really comfortable. It's nice that it posts as well. You know what I'm like. I love a pen that posts, but actually, I kind of prefer this one unposted. I think it feels nicer in the hand. So that is the Flow. And then we have these. So these are the Stabilo Pen 68 brush pens. So this is a pack of 12. They do come in larger packs with lots of different colours. I had a quick look at these earlier, but I've not properly checked them out. So, got a nice range of colours. And as I said, these are a water-based ink, which means they could and should be able to be used like watercolours. So what I'm going to do quickly is just go through and swatch all of these out first, and then I'm going to see how reactive they are against some water, just with a standard water brush, and see how that turns out. So let's get into that. Okay, so one colour in, and I'm already very happy. That spreads very nice. I can't see where the pen was underneath, so it hasn't left like a shadow. Very nice indeed. And so just to show you the nibs of these pens, it's like a little bullet nib, but it is like a soft brush. There's a good amount of flex in there, drawing on my nails. You can get some really nice line width variation. Nice thin line, thick line, thicker line. So really, really nice. Okay, let's swatch out the rest. So very interesting. They actually disperse much more than I thought they were going to, from my experience with other watercolor pens, or water ink pens at least. So the darker the color is, the easier it is to see where the pen has been before the water has hit it. But I'm very impressed. I want to try a bit of color mixing now. So let's see. I think if I'm going to try a gradient first. I'm going to take this green, and I'm going to take the turquoise, so close-ish colours, and just pop them next to each other. Pop them next to each other, and then I'm going to just have a little bit of water and try blending these together. Yeah, I mean they do blend. I could probably put them even further apart and blended them together. Okay, so that's certainly one way of mixing. How about if we have, so we want to get a watercolor effect, but with two colors layered on top of each other. So let's try purple, so this pinky purple. And how about make it a little bit more blue? And we'll put them over each other and then blend. Yeah, we get a very, very solid colour then. Can I pick this up and use this? Interesting. That's really good to know, and an interesting way of mixing a palette of colours. Mix the two colours together, then just use a little bit of water. I'm learning a lot. Okay, final one I want to try is using a plastic palette. So let's see if we can get a nice orange with some yellow. Well, that goes down really nice. And for an orange, we'd only need a little bit of red. Red can be a little bit overpowering, and then mix them together. Add a little bit more water. Maybe that was a little bit too much water, but that definitely does work, and that is an orange that is not in the rest of the colours. Could build that up, or I could just use less water in the future. Okay. I have ideas. I think there are lots of different ways that I could use this supply. So these pens. I just want to test the fountain pen over the top of these. Yeah, that's nice. It's not bleeding out at all. Getting a nice consistent line all the way across. Okay, excellent. So I now need to think about what I'm going to actually create with these. So I've got an idea. I've been toying with kind of tattoo art recently. I have several tattoos of my own. So I may do something along that line. But I'm going to give myself some time off camera and just do a couple of doodles and see what I come up with. And then I'll come back to you with a final idea and let's see where we go from there. Okay, so here is my final design, and what I'm going to do now is just take a kneaded eraser and knock the pencil lines back as much as I can. I've got a scrap piece or a spare piece of watercolour paper at the side here. It's not scrap, this is quite nice paper, this is from the Artistro set, but I'm going to use this to kind of lay down my colours and pick them up and do a bit of a wash first. Don't really know what colours I'm going to do with this. I might veer away from what you might usually expect, but who knows. I'll just take whatever whims come my way, I will go with them. Once all the colours are laid down and it's fully dry, then I'm going to go over with the Stabilo Flow and do some line work. So, I suppose this is the part where we go into time lapse. I'll knock all of this back with the eraser and then we'll go from there. So I decided to go with using a piece of paper and putting some ink on there and then lifting up, and it worked really well. Not only did I enjoy this process, but it really let me experiment with some of the hues and colours that I was using as well. So this is just one of the base pen colours as it comes. Now I'm just adding a tiny bit of red and a very small amount of red, and it just changes the value of that colour. So my idea for this was to show both the kind of muted tones that I could get, but also the vibrant tones. So I'm going for more muted colours on this Death's Head Moth, which is really difficult to say, Death's Head Moth. And they're honestly a creature that I'm fascinated with, probably Silence of the Lambs reference in there somewhere. But I'm going for muted here, and then the triangle in the background, that's where I want a real pop of colour to show the contrast between the two. But I'm just really happy with how these colours are working. I'm putting very little ink on the paper and then lifting it up and using it as a wash, and it's just going down smoothly and like butter. I'm really, really loving it. And again, just changing the hues slightly with a little dot of red and a dot of the brown, and it just lifts that colour slightly and changes it and just gives lovely tonal variation. I feel like I'm geeking out as an artist now, but this is the kind of thing that I really am looking for in supplies, some versatility. And that I really think is the word that I would use to describe these. They're versatile. They could be used in any number of ways. You know, this was sent to me as a pack for lettering, and I'm using this for a painting, and they're working absolutely fine. Here's an interesting tip for you, for those of you that are not artists or kind of struggle a little bit with colour theory. If you're looking to make a brown, a colour plus its opposite colour will make a kind of brown. So here I've gone for red and green, and it's given this really nice earthy brown colour. And you can see it's completely different to the rest of the colours that came with the pack. So being able to mix my own colours, something really important to me. And I'm really, really impressed with how these are handling. And the fact that I can add more or less water as well and get more or less saturated colours. So I decided to put some purple into this as well, just to break up the browns and the yellows. But also, purple is a really good shadow colour when you're using kind of earth tones and reds and yellows as well. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm putting a little bit of purple in just actually as a colour, but then also using it as a bit of a shadow colour as well. And you'll see me, well, I'm definitely doing it in the eyes and the nose, but also in the edges and down the edge of the body itself, just to give a bit of depth and three-dimensionality to what I'm doing here. And again, with these colours, I can build them up. I can let it dry and build up, and let it dry and build up, and I'm just so pleased with how this is going so far. Again, mixing up a different brown with a dot of black in it this time to make it a little bit darker, and again, we've got another completely different brown colour. I've said this before and I'll say it again, I'm not a watercolour expert, but I have been learning and really enjoying it as well. Like, I'm genuinely really enjoying using watercolours, and I never thought I'd say that. But obviously Stabilo do other supplies as well, and I mentioned before they do their classic highlighters. I would be interested in doing a piece of artwork just using highlighters, or using highlighters as well as something else. I think neon colours and highlighter colours sometimes can get a little bit overlooked, but if that's something you'd like to see, then leave a comment down below. Tell me what you'd like me to do with those, and I'll see what I can do for you. But we're almost there with the colours on this one. I did make sure that I gave time to let things dry, so that I'm not going wet in wet too much and making too many mistakes. But I do have, this is just straight black. And obviously watering it down means it's not going to be dark black, but again, adding in some more shadows, those eyes as well, just a few small details. So now that the actual moth itself has dried, it's time to go on to the background. And I wanted to do blending in a different way. So like we did before doing the gradient, I wanted to show that here as well, but using more vibrant colours. So we've got the green, we've got the turquoise, and we go into a blue as well, and showing a different way of using these, just in laying the colour directly on the paper and then using a water brush and really spreading that around. You can see just how far this pigment goes, and it's still incredibly vibrant. I'm sure I could go even further than this and get a more muted and washed out tone, but I'm just super impressed. And because it kind of stays wet for a while and can be reactivated, the ink started to pool in a couple of places, so I just went over with the brush again and evened it out. Now for the Stabilo Flow. So I love dip pens, I love ink. I think it works really well for tattoo art, as comic book art, all other kinds of art. But with this one, particularly wanted to make sure there was some line work in there, but not go overboard. I didn't want it to be heavy line work. I just wanted to make sure it was there and defining a few things and separating out some of the elements of the piece without kind of really going heavy on it. So I'm making sure that I'm outlining in a few things. You can see the antenna of the moth are still in pencil as well. That's going to be in ink. And other than that, it's just a few small details which were kind of inspired by some Native American artwork and some of the designs that is prevalent in that artwork. So I wanted to add a little bit of that in. And then we're nearly done. So enjoy the rest of the ink work, and I will catch up with you at the end. So who would have thought that such a world-renowned stationery supplier like Stabilo actually makes an incredible art supply? I'm actually really impressed with these. I mean, I'm I'm so in love with these pens, I can't even tell you. So much so that I've already gone and ordered myself a larger set because I want more than just the 12 that were sent to me. I want all of them. They're great. The Stabilo Flow as well, really nice pen. It's not going to replace what I usually use for inking, but it is really nice. It gives a really good, consistent, smooth line, which I'm very happy about. Still a little bit of a learning curve with it. However, the pens, yeah, I mean, I'm just... What can I say? I absolutely love them. I hope you've really enjoyed today's video, and of course, until next time, goodbye.